The second important concept that we are going to discuss in this class is about the consumption function. In economics, the consumption function describes the relationship between the consumption and disposable income. It was introduced by J.M. Keynes in 1936, and he used this concept to develop the government spending multiplier. That is, the consumption function explains describes the relationship between the consumption and disposable income, and it is believed that the concept was introduced by J.M. Keynes, and he developed this notion to explain the government spending multiplier. A linear consumption function or the Keynesian consumption model can be specified as follows: C equal to A plus B Y D. Here C is the consumption and YD is the disposable income. The relationship between these two variables is termed as, that is, consumption, and disposable income is termed as the consumption function. In this equation, C equal to A plus B by D. C, we know that it is the consumption expenditure. A is the autonomous consumption. It is given here, where A is the autonomous consumption. That is, it is independent of disposable income. Or we can say that autonomous consumption means consumption when income is zero. Even though income is zero, there will be consumption. That consumption is termed as autonomous consumption, and it is given as A in the consumption function. It is the autonomous consumption. And here B is the marginal propensity to consume. And marginal propensity to consume means increase in consumption due to an increase in disposable income. That is, B equal to delta C by delta YD, or dou C by dou YD equal to B. That is, change in consumption due to the change in disposable income is termed as the marginal propensity to consume. And in this equation, C or the consumption function, C equal to A plus B by D. B is the MPC, or the marginal propensity to consume. A is the autonomous consumption, and B is the slope of consumption function. It is the marginal propensity to consume. B is positive but smaller than 1. That it lies between 0 to 1. The value of B lies between 0 to 1. It is positive. That is another important point to remember. B is positive. It lies between 0 to 1, but it will be less than 1. And a consumption function can be specified as follows. A consumption function can be defined as follows. Theories of consumption functions include Duesenberry's relative consumption expenditure, Modigliani's life cycle, Modigliani and Bromberg's life cycle hypothesis, Milton Friedman's permanent income hypothesis, etc. These are some of the other important consumption theories, and the most important consumption theory is the theory propounded by the Keynesian consumption theory. And the theory propounded by Keynes is known as the fundamental law of consumption, or the psychological law of consumption. And the psychological law of consumption, or the fundamental law of consumption, states that aggregate consumption is a function of aggregate disposable income. That is, aggregate consumption is a function of consumption is a function of aggregate disposable income. Disposable income is YD. And this law consists of 3 propositions. When aggregate income increases, consumption expenditure will also increase, but by a somewhat smaller amount. That is, as income increases, consumption also increases. But the increase in consumption won't be at the same rate as the increase in consumption. Increase in income. That is, increase in consumption will not be the same as the increase in consumption will not be at the same rate as the increase in income. Second one, when income increases, increment of income will be divided in the same proportion between the saving and consumption. Consumption and saving go side by side. What is not consumed is saved. Saving is thus the complement of consumption. Saving is this as income increases. We know that all the increase in income is not consumed. A part of increase in income will be used for saving. That is, the total income consists of two components, consumption and savings. This is the second proposition. Third one, as income increases, both consumption, spending and saving go up. An increment in income is unlikely to lead either to less spending or less saving than before. The third proposition is that as income increases, both consumption, spending and savings goes up. And some of the concepts related with the consumption functions are given here. The first term is the average propensity to consume, APC. APC is a relationship between the total consumption and total income in a given period. Or it is the ratio of consumption to income. That is APC equal to C by Y. APC equal to C by Y, where C is the consumption, Y is the income, and APC is the average propensity. That is, it is the ratio of consumption to income is, or per unit consumption is known as the average propensity to consume. And second term is the marginal propensity to consume, MPC. It measures the incremental change in consumption as a result of a given increment change in income. It is the ratio of change in consumption to change in income. That is, MPC equal to delta C by delta Y. Delta C equal to the incremental change in consumption. Delta Y is the incremental change in income. MPC is the marginal propensity to consume. Therefore, two terms that comes closely in relation with consumption functions are average propensity to consume and marginal propensity to consume. Average propensity to consume is the ratio of consumption to income. Marginal propensity to consume is the ratio of change in consumption to change in income. A consumption schedule is given here. Here, average propensity to income is given, incremental income is given, consumption is given, then APC, MPC are given. APC is C divided by Y. This is the incremental change in consumption to income. A diagrammatic representation of the consumption function is given here. Disposable income on the x-axis and consumption on the y-axis. Here, income is an upward rising curve. It starts from the origin, and the consumption function is given here, C equal to A plus BY. Consumption increases but less than the increase in income. Then the marginal propensity to consume is given as the change in consumption to change in income. Delta C by delta Y. This is the marginal propensity to consume.